All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. I have a treat for you this morning. This is a different mindset moment. We are going to jump into the mind of Jakob Davis, founder, creator, CEO of the TNS Fitness Movement Store and Complete Lifestyle. The reason why I want to do this interview is I don't think people really understand. They look at all the fun that you're having. They look at all the passion that's going on.
Right.
And they're like, God, these guys are just having fun.
Yeah.
And they're not seeing what it takes to get there. I wanted to pick your brain.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
You see a lot of people, they come, oh, that Jacob, he's wild. You know, he's crazy. He does some, nutty stuff.
To their credit, I'm 100% crazy, but I accept that, and I use that as a strength. You know,
What drives that?
Ooh, the craziness?
Not really the craziness, just the ideas for the marketing, to be able to, because I'm sure for a lot of people, and maybe for you it's a little easier to put yourself out there.
I guess it's just my personality. I've always been able to easily get up and speak, and I've always been very hyperactive, very loud, profound, I guess. So the marketing came about from, really, I went through this phase of my life before I opened the store. I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Like all of us.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was a senior in college, and, here I am senior year. I'm on this strength and conditioning path. I'd already had internships with schools. I was planning on going to get my master's and all that. But I absolutely loved working for this small supplement store in Rock Hill. I was making videos for them, even though they had no intention of doing online marketing. I knew that, there was a different way to spin this to make people interested. And I started listening to Andy Frisella. He runs the MFCEO project.
Right. Owner
of First Form. A lot of different businesses he started. And
excellent podcast.
Oh man, and he has over 300 episodes, and I listened to every one of them 3 times. I went through a 2-month period where that was all that was playing all day because I had nothing else going on other than school and work. And, it was a part-time job. I was just learning everything I could because it's about business. I was like, what the hell am I going to do with my life? I'm listening to all this motivational shit. Is it going to benefit me?
Well, and I think that's where people it's so easy now, and motivational stuff is it's out there at the tip of your fingers.
It's cliche.
It is very much cliche, and there's a lot of wisdom out there.
Oh, yeah.
But putting that from listening to into action, where did that step happen? When did you decide, I'm going to start this? And what did you do to first take those steps? Because I know it had to be fearful.
Oh, it's so scary. Because, first of all, you deal with the fear of not knowing what your life is going to consist of. What you're going to do after college. You're in debt. You got all this. So that was fearful. Second of all, after listening to his cast, and I started reading a lot of business and personal development books and just trying to cultivate myself, the general consensus of them was chase your dreams or do what you love. Just do it. Quit saying one day. Quit saying when I'm ready or whatever. Just take the first steps.
Kind of like my last mindset where everybody says tomorrow.
Yeah, well, exactly. And everybody's always putting off things because they're in a state of comfort. And I said, screw that. We're going to take the first step. So I already had that kind of that feeling of, okay, this is what I love. I love nutritional science. I love talking about it. I'm passionate about it. And so the first step for me was it was December of 2017. I started reading a book called The Young Entrepreneur's Guide to Starting and Running a Business. It's about yay thick. And I started formulating a business plan. I knew that I wanted to run a store, but I wanted it to be more than a store. I wanted it to be based on the premise of actually teaching people something. Basically what Rock Hill Nutrition was, but since I'm 23, I'm a young guy, I wanted to take...
And I don't think people really grasp that you are 23.
Right.
At 23, I'd been in law enforcement for 2 years, and I still didn't know exactly what I was going to do.
Right.
I didn't know exactly which path I was going to take. So for you to be 23 and to understand where you want to go and how you want to do it and start making that plan, there are 40-year-olds that don't know how to do that.
Right. And I think a lot of people, they put too much emphasis, and I was at fault for this, they put too much emphasis on the path rather than the outcome. And what I did was I set in my head, I have a vision board at home. I encourage anybody to use this. This is what I started doing before I even opened the store. A whiteboard, I wrote 3 outcomes that I want to achieve. Short-term, long-term, way long-term. The first short-term within a year was I will own and operate the most successful nutrition store in the region. That was a mantra.
By the way, first year, Spartanburg's best. Just throwing it out there.
Thank you. Well, and that's not the point. It's really that I focused on the outcome. Like my whole thing was, this is going to happen. I've just got to take daily steps. But a lot of people, they get caught up in the process of how something's going to happen.
Right.
I want to start a business, or I want to do this, but how do I need to do it? Like that's what bogs them down.
I think when people do that and they start looking into the long-term how, they start finding a problem for every solution.
Yeah.
Does that make sense when I say that?
Exactly.
It's like all of a sudden it's like, no, I can't do it.
And that could be versed in a different way, I think, in saying that it's an excuse for not taking action.
It really is. It's an excuse, an excuse to stay in your comfort zone.
Right. And so that was a big driving force for me, was that vision board and knowing what I wanted. I think a lot of people have an idea of what they want, but then they go back in their head and they're like, okay, I can never do this because it requires this or this, the path, right? The actual process of doing something.
And I think what makes it worse, too, is if you have other people out there who are like, oh, man, that's hard. Or, man, you'll never, or what I really don't like, what really bothers me is, man, you've got so much on your plate.
Yeah.
Well, that's your thought.
Yeah.
That's not my thought process.
Exactly.
I have exactly on my plate what I want on my plate.
Right. And if you surround yourself with that too often, you become that.
Yes.
And so, you have so much on your plate. You're told that repetitively. I have so much on my plate. I can rest today. Or I can put off this process because I have so much on my plate.
And then everything gets delayed. It's the quicksand.
Exactly.
You're 1 foot in, then all of a sudden 2 feet are in, then you're up to your knees, your waist, and neck, and you're drowning. Yeah.
And people get caught in on that, man. And I think that's a big... It's a stopping force for people achieving what they want.
Okay, so now you've had a year in the store. You've got this. I'm telling you, the people out there that come in the store, they believe in the store, and to get people to be able to believe in your concept and your idea is tremendous. I mean, that's a success in itself. But how do you keep that momentum going in your mindset?
Yeah, that's tough because I get burnt out. I get burnt out once a month. And I think there's 2 mindsets on that. There's the one that says, okay, reset, take a break, breathe, let your body recharge. And that's when I take a 2-day trip. I leave on Saturday and come back on Monday morning just to refresh my mind. But the other part of me just usually says just push through, right? Because the momentum has built itself so much that if I stop now, I'm in fear of failure, so to speak.
Right.
I'm constantly in fear of that. Like that's if there's any stress that I have, it's fear of doing something that's going to make me fail. It's never money. It's never a new expansion or something that we do at the store. It's always fear of what I do.
What's your idea of failure?
Going out of business and letting people down that believed in me, and look up to me. And
that's a huge responsibility to shoulder.
It feels that way, because I don't see myself as anything special, and I'm not. But I do know how people view me and that come in this store that I try my best to help. And just if I were to fail, them knowing, okay, well, he was such a great guy, such a great store, and such a great concept. He was just a shitty businessman.
That's something being put on you. That's a huge responsibility because you're personally accepting, my failure is going to affect other people. How do you feel about being the example? Because people are going to follow your lead. They're going to be like, man, if Jacob can do it, I can do it.
Yeah. I've never even thought of myself as an example or even a leader. I've just always kind of done my own thing. And if people happen to come along and look up to me, hey, come on, we're here to grow each other. How do I feel about being the example of what fitness should be, or this whatever? I don't know how I feel. I think it's still we're still too young of a company.
It's up in the air.
Yeah, because we're not huge yet, and we will be. That there's that belief in my head, and
I love that. I love that belief. And now. And there are some people out there who think you're arrogant.
Oh yeah,
and those are people who truly don't know you, because you do have confidence,
right?
And you program yourself for confidence, But I have not met someone like you who has this amount of confidence and yet is humble.
Thank you.
At the same time.
And I think
not once have I seen you turn anyone away who has a question. Even if the question, I hear it and I think it's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You don't make them feel the least bit stupid.
Mm-hmm.
You don't, and you answer it politely.
Right.
You educate them, and it's honest and straightforward. And
Right.
that's not easy to do when you're bombarded.
Yeah. Well, and I try my best to put myself in those people's shoes, because they don't know. It's not their job to know what protein is and how it works in the body. That's my job. So if I'm gonna expect them to trust me and come back and talk to me, why would I belittle them with my big amount of knowledge that I have? I want to get on their level, and we're going to talk about it and work our way up to a level where we can talk together about it. That's going to build trust, and that goes into more of marketing and sales and business. But still, I appreciate that, because people do perceive me as very flashy and arrogant and full of myself.
Well, and it can be intimidating.
Yeah, of course.
But I think if people would just talk to you,
Mm-hmm.
would come up and just speak to you one-on-one, there'd be a world of difference.
Right. And I think the persona that I give off on Instagram is a persona with a purpose.
Right.
It is not. I mean, it is me. It's Jacob. But there's a reason that I'm doing that, and it's to get people's attention, and it's to get them to know what we're about at the store, the atmosphere, the energy.
Right.
It's not the personality that you're going to get if you take me out to dinner.
It's
You
not
know
an
what I'm saying?
ego-driven attention. It is more of an educational.
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
like,
I mean, it's,
here's the flash, now let me give you the
Right.
meat and potatoes.
well, and you never see us doing sales pitches on our marketing videos. Like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you, come buy it now. One-time offer. Like, no.
Like everyone else?
How else do people expect me to get attention into this brand and this culture? It's to be myself and to hopefully make it funny and entertaining while we're doing it. And that's the persona that I give off. And, hey, I'm not for everybody.
Yeah, and that's what I love. Right off the bat, you tell them, I'm not for everybody.
Yeah.
You know what? You come in the store, I'm not going to sell you something if you don't need it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to try to convince you. I'll give you the information, and you do with it what you want.
Right.
Which is what I think people trust and what people really like. You're focused, you're driven.
Right.
But what I also like, I don't think people really recognize until I'm getting ready to voice it,
Uh-oh.
is you bring that family atmosphere.
Yeah.
Now, I work for a company, Zachary Construction, and, the owner himself, he's like, everybody's family, and this guy is one, he walks the walk. He doesn't talk the talk. And I've noticed being with him and coming into this environment, I'm like, you're the same way.
Right.
People start coming in regularly, and, you're talking to them, and all of a sudden, before they even know it, without even, it being put out there, they're family.
Yeah, of course. Well, I mean, and that's, if I see you enough and we make that connection, I might make it my point to learn people's first name at least.
Yes. Every time somebody drives up, guys, you have no idea. When someone drives up, he knows your car.
Well, it's just, it is family, though. I know you. We're going to talk about your issues, and I'm going to try my best to be a friend.
I think that's missing in business nowadays.
Yeah, well,
and with you bringing that in, and with that mindset of, I need to know you on a personal level, too.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's missing in big business. That's why I want to be, personable. And, everybody's been into that retail store where it's just, you see the clerk behind the counter playing on their phone. Walk in. Hey, what's up?
Can I sell you a multivitamin?
Yeah. It's opposite. It's either they don't want to interact with you, or they want to sell you everything under the roof. And we're opposites.
And what kills me is when they're trying to explain a supplement, and it's absolutely not.
No, what I hate is they grab, in order for them to tell you about it, they have to read the box. You should not be telling me about a product that you have to read. Now, I'm not always right. I do have to look at the bottle to make sure some ingredients are right when I list them off to people, but...
Right. Well, and I've seen you pull the bottles off and show them, hey, it's got this many grams in it, which is good.
Yeah.
It educates people.
Exactly.
You said culture. Now, I know culture is something you can usually adopt, and actually to cultivate is an aggregational term. You grow things.
Yeah.
But I don't even know if aggregational is a word.
Agricultural. Yeah.
Thank you. Saturday morning. But you know what I meant.
Exactly.
But we do it as personal growth. But I've noticed that this has become more than a culture. You've changed people's minds to a community.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
it's not something you adopt. It's
Mhm.
something people have become.
And I think that the word culture is great because it brings certain traits to a business or a person or a group that make it the in group. But a lot of times people who are on the out group view that culture and they remove the and it's just a cult to them.
Right.
You know, and you never want to become that. And I think that's what I've tried. I try my best every day to steer it to community because we're all together, right? From the 350-pound dude who's just getting in the gym to the 200-pound shredded, you know, mom
beefcake
or whatever. Like, we want to bring everybody together, and that's why we do the community events, and that's why we do the crazy videos. I mean, everybody can relate to something funny. Like, laughter brings more joy to people than
and that energy
money,
attracts the same energy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's what you want. I get it. So now you just said it, the cult.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the in group, the out group.
Yeah.
Now I know that we have been called a certain group, or we're kind of exclusive.
Well, we're called. You know, I'll say it. We've been called and referred to as the Wolfpack, and I think that's just our friend group. But if that were to take ground and take off, that would kind of shut us out to the rest of the world.
It would be counterproductive to what we're doing and trying to do. Mm-hmm. It's an all-inclusive.
Yeah. And just because our group of friends get together and train together and do this podcast together, it doesn't make us inclusive, right? We want to, or exclusive. We want to include everybody, you know, and bring people together.
And, you know, we've even tossed around ideas of bringing people in the community, you know, and having interviews with them.
Exactly.
Because we want to know what drives everybody. Mm-hmm. You know, we also want to know your fears, your concerns, you know, because if you have them, somebody else has them.
Of course, man. And every growing pain and every concern that somebody else has, whatever line of work they're in, it's usually going to line up or be synonymous with something that somebody else is, you know, dealing with.
Absolutely.
Some kind of stress, some kind of pain. Even if it's not the exact same, we can relate.
And as cliche as it sounds, you know, if you carry the burden by yourself, it's a heavy load. But if you share it with a community, many hands make light work.
Exactly.
I'm going to kind of wrap this up with one last thing. I want to know, and people probably want to know out there, how do you stay consistent in your positive outlook, your positive mindset, and when you start feeling that kind of that down, how do you get yourself back going?
The consistency, I have. That's one thing that I hold true. Like, that word consistency, it means a lot to me because, well, it's what's grown TNS to what it is so far. Just being consistent. I think I keep it by I think it's out of habit. You know, when I first started the store, and I think of consistency in marketing and like how we relentlessly make videos and constantly do things for social media. Right. When I started out, I had so much free time on my hands. You know, I had I'd be lucky to see a customer every 3 hours or so. So I had just all this time, and I was like, okay, well, what can I do to reach people or make people laugh or get people in here to talk to me? And so it just started. I was making videos every day, sometimes 3 or 4 times a day. And as we got busier, I had to adopt a new time schedule to fit in these videos and making content. And as our content gets better and better and higher quality, which it is, every single video we do gets better, it takes more time, you know. So
isn't it nice being a victim of your own success?
Oh, of course, because you know it gets to a point where I have to wear so many hats: the marketer, the accountant, the salesman, the business guy, whatever. It can bog you down, but I think the consistency for me is I just tell myself I have to. Like, I know that if I slack up, if I give up what got me started and what got this momentum going, if I let loose, I'm going to kiss it goodbye. And then in 10 years, when I'm sitting around a campfire with my friends talking about the good old days, I'm going to be that one guy that everybody hates because I was talking about the glory days back when I was something. Oh. And I'm not going to be that.
That drives you absolutely insane. It's like, past is what makes you. Yep. It's a good thing. It builds you.
Oh, of course.
But we should always be looking forward.
Yeah. It's your roots, but you shouldn't adopt that. And I think it's fear, you know, back to that. I think it's fear of me failing, so I don't give up. I don't let loose, you know?
That's a good fear, though.
Yeah.
That is one of those good fears.
It's a driving fear. It's a force.
It is.
Because so many people, and stores are a great example of this. They get a good bit of business, they get a little return business, and then they just let off the gas.
I've watched a lot of mom and pop's places fail like that.
They just sit back and they're like, okay, I've got all these loyal customers and all these people that love me and support me. I'm just going to sit back and enjoy life. Okay, well, that might be the life you want, even if you do keep momentum. I don't want that life. I want to live a life that leaves a legacy, a huge legacy. Not for fame, not for money, but just to know that when my grandkids are in their prime, that they're related to somebody who left an impact on the world. That's a big deal to me, right?
That is. And my biggest fear is to die and not leave a mark.
Yeah.
Not leave a legacy.
Yeah.
Not a positive legacy. Not negative.
Yeah.
But, Jacob, I really appreciate this morning.
Dude, yeah, it's been fun.
Ladies and gentlemen, if y'all don't know Jacob, and we're just barely scratching the tip of the surface here, come and talk to him. Come down to TNS. He'll be happy to talk to you. I'm putting him out there.
Hey, I'm appreciative. I've thoroughly enjoyed this.
And we should know you. I mean, and sometimes it's intimidating with a figure that's larger than life. Put it out there, but you're totally approachable.
Yeah, I'm nothing special. I think
you are special.
Well, thank you. But in Spartanburg, yeah, we've got these awards. We're doing great things in Spartanburg. I'm super proud to say that. But I'm just a 23-year-old guy who loves supplements and being fit.
But somebody's watching you, and somebody's inspired.
Well, I'm thankful for that.
Which is awesome.
That's all that I could ask for. So
it's all they could ask for. So, ladies and gentlemen out there, we need you to keep growing, keep pushing. Comfort is not the solution. If it's going to make you grow, it's going to be uncomfortable. So just lean into it and make it happen.
Right. And guys and girls, stay tuned. There's so many things coming. Like there's so many directions that TNS is about to take. Like we're about to shotgun approach this business model.
Ooh.
And I want you guys to be a part of it. I want you to stay tuned. So the next long form content that we do, the next cast, whether it be video or audio, we're going to do a state of the Nutrition Store address. And it's going to run through everything that is coming soon. So stay tuned for that. Super excited. Love everybody.
That's it.